Welcome to another episode of Middle Ground with JLE Ground Floor, where we can agree to disagree and still be family. That's the theme song. What up, though? For my second album, JLE World. I'm your host, Jeffrey L. Edwards. And as you see, my awesome co-host Teri's not here. She's out getting some me time in, something we all need to do. But still got another great show, another great guest. Next weekend, holiday weekend, so we won't be having the show, but the season finale will be the following week, July 8th. It's been a nice ride, but 22 episodes, pretty awesome. Appreciate everybody that's been tuning in, that's been panelists, and the conversation people want to drop in with comments. Tonight's topic is, have you dealt with your trauma? I was looking to do for next season, but I felt it might be great for the night. Definition: a deeply distressing or disturbing experience, physical injury. I will say, because there's multiple ways situations. Situation could be shooting in the high school, a loved one lost to gun violence, bad relationship, divorce, childhood issues, miscarriage, anything that might be lingering that you experienced that wasn't for your betterment can be considered trauma, in my opinion. But we're going to tackle this situation with our recurring panelist from homegirl from high school, Stephanie. I'm about to bring her to the show. Welcome to the show, Stephanie.
What's happening?
Another great night, another great conversation.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. I don't have the other person that's going to be talking smack just to do it, so I don't need you to take that role.
Aw, why? That's no fun.
You already know it. I guess you're going to be Hatfields and McCoys, no problem. What do you think about trauma?
I think that it's present. I think that everybody has it or has dealt with it in one way or another. Um, may not be able to fully identify it,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the society that we're in now. A lot of what most would consider traumatic is actually the norm for a lot
What's
of
the example
people.
of that?
Hmm.
What's the example of what you're talking about?
Um, Verbal abuse in relationships.
Okay.
We could go there. So you could be in a relationship with a very narcissistic person, and you're dealing with things, you're dealing with that type of verbal and mental abuse, and you think that's what it's supposed to be because you've seen it happen in the past. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe your parents argued all the time, your grandparents argued
Yeah.
all the time, so now you think that your relationship is actually abnormal if you're not arguing all the time.
It ain't normal. You ain't arguing with me. What's wrong with you?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So,
Yeah. And I forgot to add COVID to that list because there's a lot of people that were isolated
mhm,
and that left them a little jacked up from that experience.
for sure.
I know for me, from all the shootings at Cooley when we came up, any building I go to this day, I still look for the exit. Just
Uh,
don't go left.
yeah.
I
And
need
that's
to
crazy.
know
And that's not
how to get
normal.
out of
You
here.
should not have to. That's tough.
I pray over the building, believe God and all that, but it's still okay. Somebody coming here a little too off today at work.
Where I'm going.
I know. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. And
That's tough.
sadly, school shootings are more normal now, so more people might can relate to that now. Unfortunately,
Unfortunately, you're right.
you know.
The things that are not even publicized, like we mentioned the whole relationship thing. You've
Yeah.
got the think about the kids, and
Oh
how
man.
kids are it's so funny how I was telling I think I was talking to my husband, I was telling somebody, I'm like, we spend the first 2 years of a child's life teaching them how to walk and talk,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yep.
then you spend the remainder of their life telling them to sit down and shut up, right? So what um, investing all this time, energy, teaching you how to walk and talk, and then dissuading you from using that skill. So now if that child is dealing with something, they're not comfortable enough to express it because you told me to sit down and shut up. So I'm gonna just internalize everything, so that
Yeah,
inability to verbalize those things that make them feel uncomfortable end up being traumatic for them. And it may not even have to be like all we had to do was have a conversation.
yeah.
But as a parent, you didn't make me feel comfortable enough to do that. So now I have to process all these things on my own as a child and carry that into my adult life.
And I remember a sermon Pastor Andre had years ago where he put out a sheet of paper. I'm like, where are you going with this?
Hmm.
And he like, this is a child. They don't know right from wrong. They don't know nothing. You will fill up what they are, what they think it should be. And I'm like, you know what? That's a damn great analogy.
Yeah, it is.
So if you someone that's abusive in the household, boy or
That's
girl
what's
gonna
on that
think
paper.
I should do that because I saw you do it.
Hmm.
And you might like, why they in school picking on people? Like, well, you always pick on somebody,
Hmm.
not thinking about what you're doing. These kids watching. They's going, okay, okay, that's normal.
Exactly. Very true. And then you teach them how to dress, what to say. We cursing them out, but then they get in trouble for saying the same things that they hear. Or as the
Yeah,
mom, we walking around dressed half naked, but then we want to chastise them as a teenager when they want to wear the same things that they see us wearing. We don't have nobody leading by example no more.
no, and I think a lot of this trauma affects choices people make now.
Hmm.
Like I know I was talking with someone recently, and they was telling me I don't know if they went to a therapist or just looking at situation, their relationship they're in. It had them start looking at themselves to see what about them is attracting these type of people.
Mm,
And
that's
I'm like,
deep.
yeah, that's kind of deep.
Right.
Hmm. Then you start thinking about other people I know, like everybody got a type of what they like,
Hmm.
even if they don't realize it. They might think, no, I don't like that. I'm like, yeah, but every person you bring around is street person, nerdy, a combination, or just off the hook.
Exactly.
Like something about you got a beacon going out like the bat signal,
Mm-hmm.
attracting these people.
Hmm.
And they might not even realize that it's something about them that maybe they experience that they like that don't even realize it.
Hmm.
And
It's their comfort zone.
it's just out there, boop, boop. Oh, okay,
Hmm.
let me go holler at that person. And it's crazy because some decisions you be making today might not be for your good.
Hmm.
And you don't know why you're making it. Someone's not on track with their purpose or what they want to be in life so far.
Right.
I don't know why I can't get this stuff right. Like now, to someone that's probably had a more normal situation, they might look at them like, fool, you ain't doing A, B, C, D, E. That's why you getting these results. What's wrong with this person?
Hmm.
You're not going to get up the road if you don't start walking or get in the car.
Exactly.
But to them, they thinking, man, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and that's might be from what they saw. We
That's
start
their
looking,
normal. Like you said, from a more normal situation, but who defines normal, right?
yeah, because
What's
that
normal
normal,
for me is not normal for you. Your
that,
normal is completely different from my normal. I might look at somebody's situation and say, you're in a traumatic situation. You need to leave. You need to break free. And they're like, what are you talking about? Like, this is normal. This is how it's supposed to be. And ain't. But like, there's so much behind the scenes, so much background that people don't consider when they're putting these labels on what's normal, what's abnormal, what's traumatic, what's not. Right. So there's like when we're having these conversations, especially with the victims or the people that's immediately in those situations, sometimes
mhm.
they need that point of clarity. They need to be able to compare. So this is what is normal. This is where
Yeah.
you are. Make it make sense.
And I think America plays a big part of it with if you don't have that suburban house upbringing lifestyle, you're horrible.
Mhm.
And you might not. Your parents might be lower middle class, for example,
Mhm.
but spiritually based, great values. Y'all great kids. Go to
Mhm.
college, get your degrees, have a life. But to society norms, we follow the Joneses, as they say, compared to just focus on you. Well,
Mhm.
you didn't have like 5 TVs in the house or all the technology. Your life sucked. Like, no, we did family time. We took trips. And they
Mhm.
say that money we would do ABC, but we did it. Like, man, we're doing it every week.
Right.
And ain't nothing but hell up in your house. Because so much chaos going on that old school, don't tell nobody, keep it in the house. But there's a lot of secrets in that house.
Mhm. I
That's
hear
gonna come out once
people.
you get in the world.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I hear people talk about their childhood and their upbringing,
Mm-hmm.
and they would label it as, traumatic, or, I grew up poor. We didn't have this, that, and the other, like you said, the 5 TVs and things like that. Um, I grew up, my parents had 6 kids, and
Yeah.
I'm the youngest of the 6. So, um, they had 4. They waited 10 years, and then they had 2 more, me and my brother. So there's the first set and the second set. And
Okay.
the first set acts as though their life was just absolutely horrible, right?
Oh,
My parents were young. So, they struggled, but there wasn't a day that they were hungry. They always had shelter. They didn't have to go from house to house to house and things like that. So then when I came up, my mom had started her in-home daycare, and my father worked at Chrysler. One of the things that I can compare is that with the first set, the first 4, my parents were still together. But when I was 2, that's when they separated. So I could easily say, that was traumatic for me growing up without my dad in the home. But
mm-hmm.
even though he wasn't under the roof with us, he was still very present. There's a lot of people that will say, well, it doesn't matter because you weren't in a two-parent household. That wasn't traumatic for me though, because he was
Yeah.
there. I think it's all a perception of what people see and what their
Mm-hmm.
expectations are. And if your situation doesn't live up to that expectation, then all of a sudden you're traumatic. You need therapy. You need to talk through that. Like, no, I'm
Well,
good.
there's nothing wrong with unpacking with somebody because some people might need to
Mhm.
go talk to someone that's not someone they feel that has a stake in and will just give them what they need to hear.
Mhm.
Since now we really talk about mental health, which we should have been talking about it
Mhm.
in the 80s and 90s. I mean, those were fun times, but there was a lot of shit going on back
For
then.
sure. For sure. And
And
therapy is taboo in a black house. So you going to see
yeah,
therapy, you having therapy is something really wrong.
oh yeah,
But
oh y'all crazy or something like no.
mhm,
It's okay to go talk to somebody because
it is okay.
it was traumatic. Like you still have nightmares tonight. You ain't telling nobody. You might have drink some Jack or something.
Right.
And no one know that. That's your little night juice. But you keep remembering, like man, I remember that one house was trying to sell drugs, so every week they got to shoot out with the other opposing drug dealers, and I hear a loud noise. I do this. You
Mhm.
might play it off in public, but at the crib, you still had on recurring. Like, dang, 9 o'clock at night, they start shooting.
Yep.
Ain't even got that going on no more.
Right.
But you still reliving it. And we used to save so much that if you go get help, oh my God, they must got that crazy in the gene or something. No,
Right. Right.
that's very traumatic, and you ain't found a way to let go of that situation. And it might be
Mhm.
hindering decisions they're making today to
Mhm.
where they can't be living the life they really want to live.
Right. It
And
impacts the relationships that you're in and everything.
that part
Yep.
try to figure out why every time 9 o'clock you start freaking out, have panic attack. What the hell wrong with this person?
Right.
In the suburbs, it's quiet, it's gated, and this person they chill. maybe they got somebody because no one acts like this. Like, but
Right.
they're not letting it be known they were living 9 o'clock in their house. So
Hmm.
what was shooting?
Yeah. There
And
was the fireworks over here tonight in my neighborhood.
okay, it is coming up.
Yeah. And so they were over at Heritage Park tonight. But like that goes to show like why is it that I can't go to the fireworks? Well, who's to say that I wasn't a part of downtown fireworks when there were back-to-back shootings? Maybe that person that got shot was standing right beside me or ran over me and trampled over me. Those are the things that will be considered traumatic that carry over and over. So now,
Absolutely.
because of this event, I can't go to the fireworks anymore. I can barely stand to hear them. So it's like if you're not comfortable with speaking through and acknowledging those situations, then, you are going to be looked at differently or like the outcast because nobody knows what you're dealing with or have dealt with. So, even if you're not talking to a professional therapist per se, you need to be able to talk to somebody, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Nah, it never is because now we got Juneteenth, so that's another reason to pop fireworks.
Yep. Hmm.
Someone dealing with that, like, wow, man, that's kind of terrible.
It is.
And me and Terry was talking about decisions last week,
Hmm.
be like a conversational piece. And that was just led me to like, well, trauma affects decisions, so that might
For
be
sure.
something to explore.
For sure. I hate I missed it last week. My son dragged me out.
Oh, you had fun though, right?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Hmm.
Last week we talked about. Well, that was after the show. Like, what was going to talk about this week?
Okay.
And then we talked about the summer in the '90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, those good times.
Yeah.
Like over here, even though you had the people getting shot and all that, you really couldn't tell in my mom crib because we was always hanging out and kicking it,
Mhm.
having a good time.
Mhm.
It stopped for a while. So everybody started getting married, having families, doing all that, and then once I got my house, and we started having like the fireworks here.
Mhm.
It seemed like it brought it back for a minute. Now, granted, I ain't. That was a lot of work.
Mhm.
Preparation, cooking, clean up. Since I'm the man of the house, I got pop fireworks, so I got a lot of exercise because we get them real
Mhm.
bombs over Baghdad type boys. I'm like, okay, I got to stretch because once I light, I got to take off. I ain't got time
That's
to be no
funny.
blast radius. Little kids, oh my God, I do it again. Like, oh, damn. I got more. Like, okay, I need a break.
That's
'Cause,
funny.
I got light and I got to take off.
Right.
I ain't playing them things. I need all these. You
That's
know.
funny.
But these decisions do affect. But some people, relationships say what they want it to be,
Oh yeah, for sure.
or even just the life they want to live.
It affects like their career choices and everything, So, um, I think that me personally, I can't really say that I had a traumatic, childhood, but
Mhm.
one thing I can say that I can think of from childhood that stems over to adulthood is self-esteem, and
Really?
hmm I know that my parents loved me unconditionally. It was never a question of whether I was loved or not,
Hmm.
but my mother always wanted me to be petite. So I have a sister. And I don't know, it was like one of us is short and fat, and then the other one was kinda taller and leaner. And so we were always compared because my sister is just skinny by nature. Like, I don't know what they put in her baby milk, but she never gained a pound.
Mm.
And I was the one that carried the weight for both of us. And while I was still, shapely and what society now calls thick, growing up I was always considered fat. So That
Wow.
played a lot into the way that I saw myself physically. I know that I'm pretty
All
smart,
right. I never
you
thought that
know.
about you.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, it has always like my weight has always been a thing, even in smaller sizes. I've always felt that it's body dysmorphia. So I guess that's something that I could say from my childhood that carried over into my adult life.
Okay.
And it kind of triggers a lot of actions because, I'm real hesitant on what I eat. I'm a gym rat, but it's all because I gotta meet either society standards or my mother's standards or somebody's standard, but just never been small enough to meet, that metric. Never had to seek therapy for it. I never like this is probably one of the first times, that I'm talking through it. I never really acknowledged it until later in life.
Yeah, I
But
know. Years. I ain't never had that conversation with you.
right. And, you know, it's just like when you sit and look at it in retrospect, it wasn't like I wasn't tormented by it or anything like that, but it's the little subtle comments. Oh, you wearing a dress, you might want to put on a girdle or something. I'm 9 years old. What the fuck I need a girdle for? But
Wow.
so at that point it's always been making sure this is tucked, that's tightened, this is lifted, because you gotta
Wow.
put on that appearance. So that's probably the most traumatic I would think thing, but I mean it carries
Yeah, because
over,
I
like
mean,
you 200 pounds, girl, get your life together.
you be in the gym for yourself.
Hmm.
And my personal opinion, God made black women have some meat on their bone.
Yeah,
Ain't nothing wrong with it. Now, don't be where your health in jeopardy.
for sure.
But if you got some shape, God bless America. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Because I'm sorry, being a pencil, ain't no fun with that, man. You're gonna hurt your head trying to snap some booty with a pencil.
That's
You're gonna hit all bone. I'm sorry.
funny.
Not a good look.
Your confidence is definitely better now as an adult, but you growing up, and all your friends are skinny and your siblings are skinny, you feel like the outcast. So that definitely does tie into the self-esteem factor. Trying to think of what
Yeah,
else.
I was short and fat for years coming up. So I had to talk about anything to get a girl attention. I was still sexy, but Jeff, you too short, man. 5, what, 4? I'm like,
That's
everybody
funny.
ain't 6 foot, goddamn it.
Right.
What the hell? All right.
That's
I think
funny.
your ass. I'll make that light bulb sound captivating. Like, damn. Can't talk like your boy though, can he? Hell no. Can't do that song.
That's funny.
But them things sadly affect decisions.
Hmm. Absolutely.
You don't even think about
Yeah.
it. Like I know my father passed at 12. To me, my childhood stopped this time. You got to figure out life.
Yeah.
Because like my first book I wrote, I never spoke on that. At Cooley, gangs and dope dealers was like, oh, one draft pick, homeboy. Like, and the women in prison, dog. Me and these
Right.
books, we my own gang. I don't know nothing
Yeah.
about that. But some of them, there's one cat in the music class.
Hmm.
He told me his whole layout. Now, I guess my dad was a pastor, make people feel good. Usher confession.
Hmm.
And he like, man, the stash house on the east side, the west side, where we sang. I'm like you telling me this? And when he realized he said it, he gave me one of them looks like you're in a movie. Like, do I got? Is he gonna be a problem?
Right.
And I'm like, oh shit. Next week he didn't come to school. We
Mm.
inquired. It's a dude. Like we had a name back in the day. Like dude just don't look right. You call him Smitty.
Right.
This dude was in class just mean mugging me all week. Like I know some people that know some things. Do I need to make that phone call to make sure I'm good? Because the way this dude looking at me is real fishy.
That's crazy.
Next week, old boy came back to school. Man, you're a real cool ass nerd. 'Cause you ain't say nothing. That was my hitter watching. Like, yeah, I know a hitman when I see one. Cause this dude had
Mhm.
nothing but evil intentions. He ain't singing no song. He just looking at me. I'm like, I'm about to have somebody deal with you. I know people.
Right.
Why you cool? Like, but dude, why you taking me on this thought process? I'm trying to talk to some girls and get out of high school. Figure out life.
Right. That part.
I don't care about what you're doing because ain't no women with that. I'm sorry. You gonna go to jail, you gonna die. Ain't none of that say you talking to beautiful women.
Exactly.
But you like you cool, I put the word on my touch. Like, okay, thank you, but don't talk to me no more. And my homegirl's like, so that's what old boy was mean. Like, you saw that? I ain't want to say nothing. Like, okay, at least I knew someone else saw
Mhm.
it.
Mhm. That's
But I spoke
crazy.
about it in the book. And it made me realize, like, damn, you ain't really talk about this stuff that you would come across in high school. Just
Mhm.
internalize it.
And there's
Who
so
else
many
internalize it?
people that live with so much stuff internalized that they just, never took the time. Like you were blessed because you had the opportunity to, even if you didn't speak about it, you were able to write about it. But that
Yeah,
was your outlet. You were able to release it. There are so many people that even still, take it to their graves and never have an opportunity to let
yeah,
those things out.
yeah. Because man, I wasn't trying to talk about none of that stuff in that book.
It just happened,
God ain't fair, man. He a bully.
right?
When he want his work done, he gonna be on your neck. And
Yeah,
then he had me putting there. I attempted suicide. Like, I'm not talking about that. Hell no. I talked about the song because people forget the song.
yeah.
Nah, homie.
Write it
Think on the
down.
words like this dude really like on my head. Why I need to talk about that? Who
Right.
cares?
Somebody
Who
does.
cares?
Somebody can relate to it.
And I wrote the book that July of 21.
Hmm.
In 2 weeks. Man, I ain't releasing this.
Wow.
People gonna know my business. They gonna look at me funny. Hell, no, I ain't talking about this. Nope. Then got my head in September. Like, you better put that book out here, boy. All right.
Hmm.
Just so happened I started getting cool with a cat that's out in London on Instagram.
Hmm. Hmm.
I told him I got the inspirational book, a lot of quotes, and I got my degree in life trial and times, my life story. Check it out. Maybe it might inspire you. All right. This dude sent me in the DM like, man, reading your book gave me a reason to keep going because I was thinking about doing it. Like, it made me stop. Like, damn, if you kept being stubborn and disobedient, this dude would take himself out.
Hmm.
That's why God made you write this book and made you put your attempt in there so this cat can read it.
Yep.
That shit blew my mind for like a day. Like, man, you gotta be obedient, dog. I don't like this path because I like to be to myself,
Hmm.
introvert. But you gotta follow the path because
You do.
you don't know who's keeping stuff to themselves and they ain't tell nobody. You could be that one person that reach it.
My son is using music as his outlet.
Okay.
So he raps. And I was listening to a couple of his songs. They just dropped out on YouTube and I'm sitting here,
Okay.
you know, um I'm more of a beat person. I'm like, I can put that on my cleaning playlist. I can put
Okay.
this on my chill playlist. So when I was listening to his music, at first I'm like, oh, that's going on my workout playlist. But I
Now listen
started
to the word.
listening to
Older
the
brother talk back.
lyrics. Yes. And I'm sitting here like, it's like, you really experienced this? Like, you know, and he talked a lot about his estranged relationship with his father and
Mhm.
um just some of the disparities that he dealt with having a stepson, well, a stepbrother, and the differences that his dad played in between him and his brother.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm just sitting here listening, like so much talent, but not knowing that, like, he never sat down and had those conversations with me, but he used his music as his
Mm-hmm.
outlet. And so those prompted conversations. So we talk about it now, but it was me having to listen to that. So the benefit for you was your book. The benefit for him is his music. And I'm hoping that he has a story to tell later. Like somebody listened to my song and
Mm-hmm.
was able to hear what I went through, and then he's able to save somebody like you were through your book. But I do try to teach him that it's okay to talk. He doesn't verbalize. So when I say he doesn't verbalize his words, I don't want to, make it sound like he's autistic or anything like that. He's just not a
I
very
mean, you saying,
communicative person.
hey, I emotional confrontation. I was afraid
Hmm.
of it.
Yeah,
I might hate your guts right now, but I wrote it in a song. I'm not gonna tell it to your face. That's too scary.
exactly. Yeah.
No, not doing that. Mm-mm.
And so there's this whole mentality about men, black men in particular. You get up, you go to work, you make the money, you pay the bills, go to sleep, and do the shit all over the next day. But there's nowhere in that 24-hour realm that teaches you how to speak. So you lack
Yeah.
that emotional intelligence. And that's what I'm trying. He'll be 20 in September, so I'm hoping it's not too late. But like I don't want him
Okay.
to be that person that feels like because I'm a man, I can't express what I'm dealing with because
Mm-hmm.
that's building that trauma, right? And so he's going to eventually be somebody's husband. He's going to eventually be somebody's dad. And I don't want him to have to carry, those feelings into those relationships. Same thing with my daughter who's 28 now, married. I think they've been married for 6 years now, but because my daughter and I are so close, she vocalizes a lot to me. Now, she and my son are complete opposites. She
Mm-hmm.
tells it all. I have to fish it out from him, but I have to, steer her in. Like, this is a conversation that you have with your husband because
Mm-hmm.
you like, I chose to mother you. You chose to marry him. So you're in a covenant with him.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, to try to mitigate that trauma in their marriage, teaching them how to be able to have those conversations. But it all starts with that comfortability in being able to talk
Mm-hmm.
it out or write it out or sing it out or something, but just don't
Yeah.
carry it inside. And I
And
think that's where a lot of that trauma comes from is people not knowing how to release it.
shout out to Jerome for tuning in. Wow, y'all having a good topic tonight. Appreciate it. And
Yeah.
for men, any man that's listening or check out the replay, I'm a strong advocate and believer of we're not a Terminator, we're not robots. You have emotions. It's manly to cry.
Mhm.
It's manly to tell the person you love what you did hurt my feelings,
Mhm.
and y'all have a conversation about it. Because if you never speak on them things, it's just going to be pressure building until hopefully you don't respond violently,
Mhm.
but you might lash out in some form for that release because that pressure can't stay within.
Right.
That you just you didn't been a black man in this country, all the stuff that comes with that, trying to be the head of the household, all the different hats, and people look at you for guidance.
Mhm.
And then you whatever issues you and your mate have, and y'all can't have that conversation. And hopefully you got some good friends that are real men. That
Mhm.
ain't gonna say, "Oh, this old sucking this feelings." No, what's going on, bro? Talk to me. Unpack that
Right.
shit.
Right.
Let's pray about it. You need to see a counselor. Some because some people have did murder suicide
Mhm.
because they couldn't speak on what they dealing with. You like, dang, you did what? Oh hell no. We didn't see the signs.
Mhm.
Now it's definitely good that your son is putting in music because I know music, writing songs.
Mhm.
The best music, in my opinion, is you being your authentic self.
Mhm.
And I know I talked a little bit about my life in song Man Talk, my first album. I wanted to have that. When I heard Pac led to my unborn child, like, wow, that's creative as hell.
Mhm.
What would I say to my son if I had one?
Mhm.
So I made that song like, well, that could also be a oldie to a lot of cats were like a big bro to me. You know, my dad was gone. Maybe any dude hear this song, it might get them that push they can get to wherever they trying to go.
Right.
And then when I made that song and then I replayed it, like, damn, you really, I didn't realize I had that stuff inside that I put down on what I saw,
Mhm.
what I dealt with. Because having an outlet as a dude is very important.
Mhm.
And I think that's something Kevin Samuels, some people may not always said it right, but they tried to say the man does matter and his feelings. I know Bishop TD Jakes did a manpower conference years back in the late '90s. I think he did a sermon called Emotions,
Okay.
but that was a powerful one where he was talking about man have emotions too in a relationship.
Mhm.
But the world say, well, you fall down and you bleed everywhere. I'll shake it off. You're a man. But he's in pain. He's agonizing.
Mhm.
Blood dripping everywhere. Man, put turpentine on, wrap it up. You good. Shake it off. You ain't supposed to cry.
Right.
And you just keep eternalizing that too. If you don't have some type of creative outlet, or maybe sport or the gym, it becomes violent.
Right.
Then everybody's left trying to figure out what led this person to this decision. But society keeps saying, well, a man is a robot. He don't bleed, he don't hurt.
Mhm.
I'm putting my hands on him. Any female, keep your hands to yourself. This don't hurt him. It do hurt the fact that you talking down to him or you putting your hands on him.
Mhm. You showing lack of respect towards
Well,
him.
if I do something, go to jail. So I'm not gonna do nothing. And there
Yeah.
are some situations I learned from social workers where men get beat. And I'm like, that wasn't just that men don't tell movie. That's real life. Like, dang, I didn't know that.
I remember hearing um Lionel Richie
Yep,
was talking about his wife was abusive to
yep.
him,
They used to make
and
jokes about him when we was kids.
yeah, yeah, it's crazy. It's like you really, but you just don't know. Like
Hmm.
there's this facade that people wear, because we have to live with the societal norm. So we're putting these masks on
Hmm.
every day. And it's just crazy. I'm glad that mental health is as public as it is now,
Hmm.
but I wish that it was more prevalent in years past. I think that if it weren't so taboo before, then a lot of our fathers and grandfathers would have been able to break that generational curse, and we wouldn't have so much, or not necessarily we, but our society wouldn't have so much to deal with now, because they would have been more comfortable using those outlets and those resources that were available, but we just didn't know it. We didn't know how to approach it, how to deal with it. An example, my father, he just turned 80
Wow, that's amazing.
um in June, and he's still, like, I call him Superman to this day. Like,
Okay.
there's nothing that he can't do, don't know. But when it comes to putting that emotional hat on,
Hmm.
he lacks it. He just doesn't know. He lost his sister, and I'm waiting for him, to cry, because he and his siblings are like super close. And his thing was, it's in God's hands, and he's just kind of like, okay, I'm about to go to work. And I'm like, sir, you're gonna sit down, but he's a man,
Yeah,
and
crazy.
men ain't supposed to cry, and ultimately death is a part of life, so you just deal with it, but
Mhm.
um he's the one I can say that never learned how to express those emotions. And I think that he would have been much better if he were taught that it's okay. It's okay for a man to
Mhm.
cry. Um, I don't know. It's like I
That's
feel
real.
sorry for our men because they don't have anybody to teach them. And so I can instill it in my son. I can, tell it to my husband, but that's 2 out of 20,000, 20, million people
Hmm.
that don't have that comfort. And so they'll end up taking those situations to the grave with them, never having that opportunity to release that stress. And it's such a blessing to be able to have somebody to talk to. Like I said, it doesn't have to be somebody that went to school for, that subject. A friend, talk to a sibling, a brother, you
Yeah,
know,
that's real.
just having to carry that stress. And everybody has some type of stress. Work is stressful. Being a parent is stressful. Being a spouse is stressful. Like literally waking up is causing some type of stress. And so you got to be able to have that outlet.
Yeah, and I put across the screen for anybody watching the replay. They have a number to call now for mental health help. You can
Hmm.
call 988. Again, if you need mental health help, professional will be there if you call 988.
And that's
Yeah,
24/7 help.
yep,
That's awesome.
yep. And I put the website and all that in the description when I posted this episode.
That's
That's
awesome.
988lifeline.org
Hmm.
for suicide prevention online. And I can relate to that about your dad because when my father passed when I was 12, I cried going down the street to my cousin's house. I didn't cry again till I think I was 25 when I really realized what you will lack when you don't have a father around. That all those manhood conversations, you'll go chop it up with him.
Hmm.
And good, bad, and different choices I've made over the years that got me to where I am.
Hmm.
Now, this is what I missed out on. But then I had a conversation with someone about, or no, I was watching one of those superhero shows. They're talking about a fixed point where, say, if someone parent passed away, like superhero,
Hmm.
it helped make them that superhero. So that's a fixed point. You
Hmm.
change that, it alter all type of stuff. So it got me to thinking, hmm, if you didn't live without, if your childhood didn't stop at 12 because your father died, would you be the person and the thinking I have now? Now,
Hmm.
and all the people I help with, I call it being a mutant because getting real jobs, going to college, you don't think like regular 20 something year olds no more. You thinking about 10 years down the road type thinking. So it felt weird being that more, I guess, aged and thinking around your
Hmm.
peer group to where you felt alone. Like, I don't want to go strip club in downtown no more. I mean, I'm thinking of different stuff to do. Let's go
Right.
cigar bar or something. Let's talk about stocks or what's your 5 year plan.
Exactly.
You're looking at me like, what the hell wrong with y'all?
Hmm.
But I got a real job looking at real life situations now, so I'm processing different information daily now.
Right.
But then I had to look at too, well, unfortunately the events played out the way they did, but look at all the people I helped along the way. And sometimes unfortunate the hand you were dealt. And it might sound crazy, it might be the best hand.
Right.
Because the person that it made you, you might be helping people that never say nothing to you, but they watch you.
Exactly.
And all the moves you make through all your trials and tribulations, they're like, nah, this person still like the mission is over there. So I don't care what the hell jumping off. I'm still going there because I gotta get that done.
Hmm.
And some might let you know I watched your grind and it made me finish. I,
Hmm.
I was humbled by that experience by my brother Joe. And watching me take 27 years, but I got my degree.
Hmm.
He finished his degree. And I'm like, do you GI Joe? You got so many titles in the Air Force. I influenced you to do something. Wow,
Hmm.
I'm truly humbled. But it was a quick little reminder. You never know who's watching your story play out and all the moves you make. it remind me now with all of the stuff I'm doing now, like, people watching you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You don't think they're not. And you might be helping them tweak on what they plan. It's like, well, he moving like that. He made mistakes there, but okay, let me tweak mine so I can get my stuff tight.
Exactly.
And it might suck, but you're a role model. Sorry.
Yep.
No,
It
Barkley
comes with the
said
territory.
you should be no role model, but hey, someone's always watching.
Hmm.
So a lot of decisions you make don't just impact you.
One of my
And
mentors told me that,
mhm.
like the whole Big Brother is watching. She's like, you're always on a job interview. And so she was speaking in terms of professionally, so like one
Okay.
of the things at work, they changed our dress code. So we don't have to dress professionally at work anymore. We can wear jeans every day.
Okay.
Um, but, it
But it's
was like,
applied to still look professional.
exactly, right. So you're always on, it's like you're
With
always
corporate
on
America.
the interview, right? So you don't know
Yep.
who you're gonna bump into in the elevator. Somebody's always watching.
Yep.
And
Stay
so
ready. You ain't
I
gonna get ready.
carried that. Yep. So I might put on a pair of jeans, right? But if I have on jeans, I still have on a blazer. I'm still wearing boots or heels. That comes with the territory. I only wear gym shoes on the weekends. Um, and so somebody called me out when I was in my trainer position. One of my trainees
Mm-hmm.
brought that up, like, we don't have to dress up at work. And I'm like, okay, I've been here 15 years. You've been here for 2 weeks. Like, I don't need you to teach me the dress code. And she's like, I want to mirror that. Like, you can wear whatever you want. Why do you still dress up? And I kind of carried that down. And so I saw her. So this is like maybe a year ago. And then I saw her
Mm-hmm.
again recently. And she was dressed up. And I was like, okay, look at you. I think she had on a polka dot jacket or something like that. So I'm like,
Okay.
look at you with your heels on. And she was like, yeah, I learned that from you. And I was like, okay. So I learned it from my mentor, practiced it. She learned it from me and is now practicing it. So just using that as a random example to say
Mhm.
that, those things carry on and that could be used in the positive and in the negative, right? So if I
Absolutely.
picked up one of those negative habits and carried it on, and then somebody saw me and was like, "Oh, she does it and she get away with it. I'm gonna do it
Mm.
too."
Oh
Right?
man. That was Wayne State custodial department.
Yeah.
Why I gotta be a good worker? This dude get the same paid bull job. I'm like, you
Yeah.
do it for God and yourself, man. You never know who watching you. Jeff, you're a good again. Call it what you want.
Call it what you want.
My Gillis School of Business indoctrinated me. You are a brand
Mhm.
every day of your life. So what does your brand say about you?
Hmm. I just got
So
out of a workshop talking about personal branding.
like, and advisor at Wayne, when I was putting a trash set, told me that when I told her I was going for business school.
Mhm.
Like, well, you need to act like the CEO now and everything you
Mhm.
do. Like, I ain't got no company. Like, you gonna have one.
Right.
So if you start doing it now, you're gonna have a little better knowledge before
Mhm.
you when it does come, because you already thinking on that level, and you never know who watches you. Especially,
Yep.
I'm reminded of my job now that well, you do everything by the book, yeah, because I don't want to hear nothing.
Exactly.
I don't need you. What Jeff you did do? No, I don't need to be supervised. I'm sorry.
Mhm. I know
Very
how to do
good.
my job.
Give me all the rules and regulations what you need me to do, and I got you.
Mhm.
Because I don't want you in my face all day. Like, well, you didn't do this. You did. No, I don't want to hear all that, man. Because we gonna have a problem.
Right.
So, some that I did when I was a custodian way, like, do you?
Mhm.
Because if you try to do something with your life, these people are watching.
Mhm.
You never know who, like, hey man, I got a supervisor or this spot, 80 grand or whatever. You know someone that's a good hard worker?
Mhm.
Nope, my custodian sucks ass. They barely do anything. They be on the phone all day. And you may mention you want to go to school and like, yeah, but a track record. And I had told a friend that once, and she started getting better with her
Mhm.
work performance. Like, these people, they know people. So anybody listening, wherever you work, if you're trying to, if this where you are is not what you feel your purpose is, where you are, somebody might know someone that might have an outlet to the next step for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what does your brand say about you? You
Right.
know how you work in the room, you about your grind, or you do a job, you half-ass. They ain't gonna speak on your behalf.
Right.
So
For
they see
sure.
you every day like, nah, they ain't ready yet.
For sure.
You grinding like, nah, this one right here. Yeah, you get them a shot, man. They be grinding hard all day. And when ain't nobody looking, they doing their thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you're doing. You ain't doing it for that. You're awesome. That's just what you do.
Yep.
In today's world, 24-hour news cycle, everybody is a journalist because they got camera phones.
Right.
I'm one gonna take a picture of this. It might catch you, and you don't want to become famous. Like, man, I got a picture that they had them dudes stripping. They was doing that thing. Let's put that picture online.
Right.
Oh, that was you back in 23. Dang, they saw that. Like, yeah. And they take a picture over here, but using the back screen.
Crazy.
So you really can't hide.
For sure.
So whatever you're doing, I hope it's something you be proud of. You make
That
a
makes
better
sense.
decision. You know.
I'm gonna take those words and share those with my son, like, cause he's so impressionable, and I'm still trying to get him where he needs to be. And I know it comes with time and everything like that, but um, with him not having, that relationship with his dad, this is my opportunity to be mommy and dad, right? So when I hear nuggets like that, I'm like, ooh, that's one I can share with that boy.
Ah, man.
Mhm.
Hell, he should check out Eric Thomas TikTok,
Eric Thomas.
the motivational speaker and I believe preacher.
Okay.
He's from here. I know when
Okay.
watching some of his stuff years ago, he was eating out of garbage cans
Mm.
and just started grinding, getting his life better. And up late at night, can't go sleep Saturday night on TikTok.
Mhm.
And I know it's more, I started liking positive stuff. You would see
Mhm.
people. And I came across that dude, the energy he bring. I'm like, I'm ready to go, man. Let's get it.
Right.
Let's do what talk about. Let's go.
All right.
And
I'm gonna
and
share
he,
that with them.
and I know if you put in like motivational speakers or videos on YouTube, you might hear him or David Goggins. He was a Navy SEAL. Talk about his journey, how he was overweight but worked to finish it.
Mhm.
I'm like, dang, they put that work in.
Mhm.
That might help him. You're gonna have to grind to get to where you're trying to go,
Right.
and you're gonna have distractors, but kick rocks.
That part.
Focus on your path,
That part.
and you'll get there. Even if you don't know what it is yet, but focus on you. Don't worry about everybody else.
Mhm.
They persecuted Jesus, so they're gonna say something about you.
For sure.
So they ain't got heaven and hell to put you in. They tell them shut the hell up.
Love it.
Figure out you, who you are.
Yep.
A lot of young brothers probably deal with that, like, well, who am I? Where I'm trying to go. And if they don't have that leadership, they might fall under being a follower. And there's too much nonsense out here to follow.
Mhm.
But they ain't telling you manhood talk. Because a man he's supposed to be a leader. So good, bad, and different, you make decisions, you live with them.
Mhm.
So, and lean on the Lord. Now, that's your ultimate Yoda.
Mhm.
If you need a mentor, whatever you're trying to go into, go reach out in those fields. They'll give you some knowledge.
Excuse me.
But a lot of people want to pass the knowledge around. I done done all this. Okay. I don't see nobody want to do what I'm doing. Okay, well,
Mhm.
reach out to them. Like, oh, sure, we can do a virtual hookup.
Right.
Pass the knowledge. And I think I'm believing within a year or two, he'll be well off from where you say he is now.
I accept that. He will. And he's doing he had a job interview the other day. and I think it went really well. So, um, I'm like, he automatically gets the pass just because, like I say, he's 19. But I think like everybody always talk about how impressionable boys are between the ages of like 5 and 11 was like the threshold of where you really shape them. But I think at that age, it does set a foundation, but it's
It
these
goes beyond that.
early teens. Hmm.
It goes to me. It goes beyond that if you didn't have that male figure
Yeah.
to be your guide.
Yep. And so at the age now, like you're in those early 20s, this is when you really learning yourself and how to manage your money and what to do with your time and
Hmm.
um basically learning how to be a grown man. So I'm like a lot of that impression it's set at that younger age, but it's actually put into practice at this age. So I get on his nerves, I know, but
Oh,
I'm
I've
like,
been reminded recently that a lot of cats ain't like you, Jeff. Like, man, I'm thinking everybody like, but I forget you
mhm,
started being a child at 12.
mhm,
So your 18 ain't the regular 18 because you really try to figure out life.
right,
What am I supposed to do? How I'm supposed to get to the next step?
right,
So people try to pass for knowledge. I'm really listening because I ain't got no fail safe. It's only me and God. I gotta figure this thing out.
mhm,
So by the time I did get to mid 20s, looking back on it now, I can see why people thought I was in my 30s.
yeah,
I'm like what? A young black male can't have sense. But looking, remembering, you started being a kid at 12.
mhm,
So your whole viewpoint is totally different from someone that had parents in the home or they ain't have to think about life that early, paying bills, take care of homes, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they might still be a little bit immature.
right,
And they might be on their regular pace. But a lot of people who may come across situations where they had to grow up earlier or a kid 18, 30 siblings, yeah, it sucks, but they gotta be an adult way early.
way
About
early,
when they 20, they playing pot trading war story like, man, I've been out here grinding for the last 10 plus years. I'm ready
right,
to take a break. And you're like, what they talking about? Like they start telling their life story. You might say, damn, that was your life.
right,
At 8, getting everybody up, feeding them, getting them to school, homework. Dog, what the hell? Time on the
yeah.
break.
My mom started at 6, raising her siblings.
See? And it's unfortunate because some of them I've encountered in those scenarios, once they got to their 30s, 40s, I'm free. I'm wilding.
Mhm,
They made it for lost time.
right,
And there's some like, man, I'm gonna do my thing, but it got me to this point.
mhm,
So it sucked a little bit, but at least they all good. We all good. We ain't the horror stories we know
right,
that can be because of some scenarios.
right,
So somebody always God balance it out for you.
true.
I do think. So what do you think about this conversation?
Hmm?
What do you think about this conversation?
I think the conversation was really good. I think it's a conversation that was needed and um should be continued. Like this is not one of those one and done topics, right? We should revisit it again, but I love the point that you made about how some of our traumas impact our decisions and actions now and
Mhm.
how they carry over into adulthood. So it's just something that should always be on the dome. Like whenever you're thinking, making a decision, why am I doing this? Is this gonna benefit me? Am I doing it out of habit? Am I doing it because I saw somebody else do it? Is this my comfort zone? So I think this conversation just kind of geared me personally toward being more conscious of why I'm making certain decisions. And not to say that it's a good decision, bad decision, or indifferent, but you know, decisions are made around the clock. Like you're deciding if you're going to have coffee, you're deciding on what you're going to have for breakfast, right?
Mhm.
Every single thing is a decision. So I think the conversation helped to make me more conscious about why I'm making the decisions that I'm making and being able to make those long-term decisions, so that I'm not basically kicking myself in the ass a week from now or a month from now because of
Yeah.
a rash decision that I made today.
And you're gonna be going to the gym for you, nobody else.
That part.
You
Mhm.
already look good. You're doing it for you.
Yeah,
Hell society.
that part.
I'm working on a 12-week plant-based
Mm,
lifestyle change.
okay,
It's different.
I can imagine.
I ain't this much fruit in a minute and vegetables. And the junk food be calling like junk. Like, I'm good.
Yeah, huh.
I'm good. I don't need it. I done slutted with you enough, man. All the chili fries and pizza and candy. I don't want to slut with that no more.
Right.
I want to turn my life over.
Love
They got to be Ebony Magazine ready,
it.
All this stuff take off, boy. They ain't gonna recognize like, oh, that boy, he got the money. You got damn right. I got that bread to help people, and I look damn good. Look at you, boy.
Right. Look at you.
Take that picture.
Mhm.
I think that's all I got so far. You
Okay.
got any other words for it? We can wrap
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah. Great conversation, though. Thank you for the topic. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, because I was foreshadowing for next season. I came up because this show covers all topics. I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
well, business, we're gonna talk about health, lifestyle, this,
Mhm.
and that was one for next. I'm like, well, okay, we had some fluff. So I want to have balance of fluff. Anybody listen, fluff would be the Freaknik story or
Mhm.
the '90s music. To me, that's fluff, fun stuff. But
Yeah.
then we're gonna have some deep King Malcolm X type, make it think for a minute.
Right.
Conversation. But I want to do it every day. You like, oh my God, they too serious. We have fun in the middle ground too. Ground floor.
Love it.
This is definitely a good one. Definitely it's across the screen. If you need any mental health help, please call 988. That's a national number. They will help you. And if you watch this episode and share it with someone that might need to hear it, that might some stuff we talked about, you might feel they're doing some of the things. Maybe they might listen to this and might finally say out loud what it is, and maybe they can break them change. Start doing something for the more betterment of themselves.
Mhm.
We hope y'all have a great weekend. Again, we're gonna have episode next week, holiday weekend. We're gonna put a replay episode up. I pick one. We got this episode 21. Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was saying it for a while in the interview show, Middle Ground. I'm gonna do the other copies. It's coming. Like wow, and bring it to fruition. Like dang, it's hell of a
Love it.
ride. A lot of great moments. Season 2 gonna
Absolutely.
be off the hooks. I want to start doing live stuff.
Mhm.
Eventually, have a live audience. That's
Okay.
gonna then that's gonna be real dope to do that one.
For sure. Love it.
So we hope y'all enjoy this conversation. Y'all have a great weekend, great night. I'm gonna be grinding for a minute to put this up. Till next time, everybody.
All right. Good night, all.